Hello, my miraculous friend. This is Reverend Francis Faden. I want to welcome you to day number 4 in the Magnify Your Miracles Journal 9-day journal challenge. We have been doing our 4 core practices. We have been getting in the energy of gratitude. We've been focusing on our goals. We've been revising whatever's not working, and we've been tracking our evidence. And people are experiencing miracles. Yay! Makes me so excited. Now, if you don't already have, let me show you where you can get it. If you don't already have the Magnify Your Miracles journal, it's my new journal. It's a 54-day journey is really what it is, to help you manifest, to help you experience more prosperity, more peace, and more miracles. You can get this in a print format, which is what I love. You can get it in a digital format. Either way, it works, whatever way you want. And you can follow along for the 54 days. We are doing the first 9 days together. Doesn't matter when you start, doesn't matter what you're doing. The most important thing is that you do the practices. And I'm so excited to be reading your comments. If you're in the Facebook group, leaving me comments and questions and letting me know what's going on. If you're watching on YouTube, leaving me comments there, asking questions. I love engaging with all of you and knowing what is happening. So before we get into day number 4, and I got some special things to share with you, let's take a few deep breaths together. Oh, we take a deep breath. And the reason that we do this is we want to just start to become more aware of that energy that I call divine presence, that energy that is supporting us, that is always present within us. And then that's the energy that helps us to magnify our miracles, draw to us everything that we're wanting and needing. As we start to feel a little bit of that peace, we know that that energy is here and that everything that we're desiring is possible. So let's take one more deep breath together in gratitude, and we can begin. All right, my friend. So we're here on day number 4. That means that you have had 4 days of starting your day with gratitude, writing down at least 3 things that you're grateful for that are currently in your life. And there's something different every day. So you're not writing the same old, I'm happy for my house. I'm happy for my house. You want to write something that's in your life now that you're grateful for, that's different from the day before, right? So I did a practice like this with one of my coaches, and he had you do 10 things that you're grateful for on day 1, and 20 things on day 2, and 30 things on day 3. By the time you got to day 7, you were doing 70 things in the morning and 70 things in the evening, and they all had to be different things. You couldn't repeat once. So I'm just asking you to do 3 things every day. And the whole point of doing it is to get you into the energy of gratitude of how amazing your life is now, how blessed you are right now, to break the habit of lack and to always thinking about, I'll be happy when. We want to be grateful right now. So we write those 3 things. And then we're focusing on our goals. What are your top 3 goals? You can only, if you want, you can focus just on the 1, or don't focus on more than 3, but what are your top 3 goals? We're going to be writing them in the energy of gratitude. And then we're going to be going through the revision process, and what's not going well in your life. Let's rewrite that in a way that makes you feel better, how you really want it to be. And then we're tracking our evidence. So before we get into actually doing the practice today, and we're actually going to do, since it's day 4, I'm going to do all 4 practices with you, because I have been noticing that not everybody is doing all 4 of the practices. So I'm going to talk to you about that in a minute. But first, I want to share questions and some evidence. So I shared some questions for yesterday. Today we have 2 questions, but they're actually the same question. Should you make new goals every day? Is one question. And the other person said, I'm not really clear about the goals. Are we writing 3 different goals every day? And so the answer to both of those is no, you're not writing new goals every day unless all of your goals have manifested. So if you're on day 4 and everything that you've been focusing on that are your goals, and you're doing it in present tense, and you're feeling the energy of it's already here, and you're saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. If by day 4, everything has manifested, then get some new goals for sure. But if they haven't, don't just keep bringing in new goals. We want to have the energy of consistency, and we want to really bring that energy of focus and concentration. So pick your top 3 goals and really focus on those goals. Now, the exception to that is if in the process, and we'll talk about this on day 9, if in the process of doing this, you realize like, that's not really my goal, that you picked something and either it doesn't apply to you anymore, or maybe it was a goal that you thought you should do, but you actually are realizing, if you realize something about your goal, then you can alter it, but you're not meant to be rotating. So stick with those goals until they either manifest or you realize it's not a true goal for you anymore. So I hope that that's helpful. And then I want to celebrate some more evidence that someone in the Facebook group said, and she posted a little beautiful flower. She said, "Here's my evidence. A client gave me flowers today. It's the first time this has ever happened in my career." And she posted a beautiful picture of the flowers. Yay. So that's a perfect example. Now, I can imagine that her goal was not people are giving me flowers. I mean, it might be her goal, but whatever she's focusing on, being in the energy of gratitude, it elevates your vibration. It makes you open and receptive to the universe. And then the universe can send you all the good stuff that it wants to send you. You know, it's amazing. I remember when Mother Mary first came to work with me in 2012, and she asked me to work with her, is really more accurate. I started studying her apparitions. And one of my favorite apparitions is when she came in 1830 to St. Catherine Labouré. And she's the one that she gave the miraculous medal. I always wear my miraculous medal. And the story on the miraculous medal is Mother Mary came and she appeared and she sat in the chapel and she talked to St. Catherine Labouré, who was just a young nun at the time. And she showed her all these different things. But one of the things she did is she showed her over on the side of the altar, there was this, for lack of a better way of explaining it, a big pile of like stuff. And St. Catherine was like, "What is that?" And Mother Mary said, "Oh, those are all God's graces that people don't ask for. So there they are, just sitting there." So I'm telling you this story because there's so much more than what you're even asking for, right? God wants to give you everything. The universe wants to just pour through you. It wants to experience all that great stuff as you, right? The one thing that Mother Mary says is we have to be open to it. We have to focus on our receptivity. These four practices are all about helping you become more receptive to all the great stuff happening. So we focus on gratitude first. That gets us in the energy of recognizing how blessed we are. It opens our heart. Then we focus on our goals and we say, "Thank you, thank you, thank you," as if it's already here. That gets us in the place of receiving. We're saying, "Thank you," right? And then the point of doing the revision is there's things that happen throughout the day that can close off our receptivity, right? There are things that can happen where we feel disappointed or we feel discouraged or we start to have doubts or somebody doesn't treat us well or we get our feelings hurt or whatever it might be. And what does that do? That starts to close us off. So that's why revision is really important. And then we track the evidence because the evidence shows our logical mind. Your mind's going to start telling you, "What a coincidence that somebody gave me flowers," right? What a coincidence that this happened. It's not a coincidence. It's you and the universe learning how to dance. It's you learning how to be with the energy of the universe. That's what's happening. So when we track that evidence, it's really, really helpful. Now, I am a very encouraging person. I like to encourage people. I don't like to do tough love really, but I'm going to give you just a little bit of it. And it's not really it's not really tough love. It's actually just love. So what I've noticed is that some people have said, as they're tracking what they're doing in the Facebook group, how many of the practice did you do today? Now, some people are sick and not feeling well, and I totally understand that. So I always want you to be kind to yourself. But I want you to also think about this because this is something that I'm doing with myself. These 4 practices will help you magnify your miracles. They'll help you shift out of whatever's going on with you right now. A lot of people have said, "I just did the 2 today. I've done 2. I've done 2 of the 4." And while there's a part of me that's like, "Yay, you did 2 of the 4. That's awesome." And it is because it's so much better than doing none of them. I want you to think about this. I really want you to take this to heart. If you were in You're being held captive in a foreign country, horrible conditions. And I said to you, I can get you out of this prison. There's 4 things that you have to do. Would you do them? Or would you only do 2 of them? Now, I want you to think about that, right? Really, really think about that. So when we show up, and I'm saying this for myself because I've done this myself, like I'll start my day and I'll do my 2, and then the day gets busy and I don't do the other 2, right? What I'm telling to the universe is I'm only half committed. I'm only half committed. And there's a couple of things that can be happening. One is you've either picked something that you don't really have a lot of energy about, like you're not really doing the practices on something that you really want. You didn't set that intention of changing something that really, really matters to you. You're picking something that would be nice, kind of would be fun, but it's not something that really matters to you. So, and this is something that we'd look at on day 9. We're going to do our review, but I'm going to give you a little midweek check-in now. Look at what you're focusing on in your goals. Are these goals that you're like, yes, that you're really excited about, that have a lot of meaning for you? Or are these kind of lukewarm? And like, if you do it, you do it. If you don't, you don't, right? So again, not trying to put you down. If you're doing the 2, I'm grateful that you're doing the 2, but I want you to magnify your miracles. I want you to get the result that you really want to get. There's 4 practices for a reason. And I'm going to talk a lot about revision today. We're going to go through this process today. So similarly, if you had an illness or your child had an illness, right? Something that's got a lot of emotion for you. And I said to you, there's 4 things you can do. You can heal this. 4 things. Would you only do 2? You want to think about that. Or would you only do 1? Would you only do it one day and not do it the next day? So without beating up on yourself, and without me, I'm not beating up on you, having compassion for yourself, I want you to lovingly take a look at yourself and say, what's going on with me that I might not be doing the 4? And if you're doing the 4, woohoo, I'm so proud of you. Now, a lot of times what I'm hearing from people is either they don't understand revision or they don't think it's necessary. And so revision is a process by Neville Goddard where he says, at the end of the day, you look back and you just say, what did I not like about my day? What didn't go the way that I would have wanted? And then you rewrite it the way that you would want. Now, some people say, well, I didn't really have anything that didn't go my way today. And the truth is, the more you do this practice, the less you're going to have things that bug you in the day, which is part of the secret of doing it. We think it's about changing the past. That's actually creating your future. So really think about that. When you're doing your revision, you're letting go of the negative feelings from the past, which is part of what creates the positive energy for the future. That's one of the reasons that you do it. But if you don't have anything from your day, I want you to think about, is my life exactly the way I want it to be? And if it's not a specific incident that happened, there might be a circumstance in your life. So for example, maybe you just had a normal day at your job and nobody was rude to you, or, nothing, there was no incident that happened, but you don't love this job. And so you, at the end of the day, you're like, my day was meh at my job. I want you to rewrite that day. I want you to rewrite it and say, okay, I had an awesome day out at my job. I love what I'm doing. I'm having great interactions with people. I'm feeling so productive, and I'm so happy, or whatever it might be. So don't settle for meh. The truth of the matter is, for those of us who live in America, especially, or any Western country, we have the privilege of having lives that are pretty good. Lives that are pretty good. We're pretty comfortable. And so for most of us, it's like, my life, my day's okay. My day's okay. If you want to settle for okay, you can do that. But this is the Magnify Your Miracles journal. This is the journal that's about helping you to step into the version of yourself that experiences miracles every day. Remember, a miracle is simply something that happens that you didn't know could happen. It's when you experience something that you didn't think was possible. So if you're having kind of days that are okay, no big drama happening, I'd be grateful for that. It's so nice to not have big drama. But what if you could have amazing things happen? What if you could be having what you really want to be having, feeling how you really want to be feeling? That's what I'm saying. Okay. So when you're doing revision, It can be something specific. Now, when you get to master level in revision, you can actually just not review the day. You can take a look back at incidents that have happened. So maybe you go back 20 years and you think about, "Oh, I didn't get into the college I really wanted to get into, or I didn't get the job I really wanted to get, or I didn't really marry the person I thought I was going to marry," or whatever it might be. Things that are like that still kind of bother you, that still kind of hurt you. You can actually do revision on those things and release that energy. Now, the way I have it set up in the journal is it's more about end of the day. But if you're struggling with things at the end of the day, I want you to look at, are there any things that are like, I call them having a rock in your shoe? Are there any things that have happened over your life that you're like, you know what, if I had a magic pen and I could rewrite this and let myself feel the way I really want to feel, I would do that. So that's what I'm going to recommend for you. So let's go ahead and do our practice today. So take out your journal. We're going to do it together. We're actually going to do all 4 practices today. So right on the top, what's today's date? Today's the 9th. Now, before we do this, I'm going to ask you to go back to the beginning and look over your intention, right? Look over your intention and really get into the energy of your intention of why you're doing this process. Yeah. And you do that, it connects you with your energy. All right. So let's write down 3 things that we're grateful for, 3 things that are in our lives right now. We're going to write them together. And we want to use the word because to really bring that emotion in there. Really feel, why are you grateful for that? All right. So that's my 3 things that I'm grateful for. Now I want you to take a look at your gratitude and read them again and really focus on the feeling of being so grateful for it. And from that place of feeling just so grateful, now we want to focus on our goals. And you want to write down your top 3 goals that you're focusing on. We want to write them in the present tense and we want to write thank you, thank you, thank you. So if you've been doing your goals every day, they should be top of mind for you. So let's write our goals. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So I've written my 3 goals. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I want you to read them again. Read them to yourself now and just feel so grateful that these things are already here. Yay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. We're going to do our revision now. You're going to do your revision with me. So I want you to think about, you can just, for our purposes, just review your day yesterday since we're doing this today. Or if you're watching this at the end of the day, if you're watching it on the replay, you can think about your day today. But I want you to think about something recently that maybe did not go the way that you would have liked. And how do you know? You feel annoyed. You feel irritated. You feel frustrated. You feel angry. You feel hurt. You feel upset. You feel any negative feeling at all. And so I want you to think about that. Be honest with yourself. Am I having anything going on? And remember, feeling kind of like meh is not a positive feeling. That's that in my mind, that's a negative feeling. Feeling kind of like not so great. So think about a particular thing that you want to rewrite it, revise it, and make it the way you'd like it to be. So let me think about this for myself. Okay. So I'm going to write it, and you're going to write it. This is how I like to write it. I like to write it that it's already happened. So I'm remembering it. It's already happened. I put a lot of emotion in here, and I'm just saying, I'm so grateful that blah, blah, blah happened. And I write how it happened. All right. So I'm done writing mine. Curious if you're done writing yours. So I started writing it, and I was kind of like, and then I started getting into the feeling of it. And now, like, I started smiling because I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And it makes me feel, now I feel light. I feel happy. My heart is back open. And I'm like, yay. That energy, whatever I was feeling, frustration, worry, is out of my system. And now I'm feeling grateful. All right. And then the last practice is evidence. What have you been noticing? What have you been noticing has been shifting? Anything's happening that hasn't been happening? And so let's take a look at what's been going on that I have noticed. It could be even in how you're feeling. I'm feeling more optimistic. I'm feeling more connected. I'm feeling just, happier, whatever it might be. And it could be things that you're noticing that are starting to happen for you. So let's take a look and write down, what did I notice? All right. Yay. So we did it. We did our 4 practices today. I'm so happy and so grateful to be doing this process with you. So today's day 4. I encourage you, if you've only been doing 2, see if you can stretch yourself and start doing all 4, because you want to break out of that prison, whatever it might be. Even if it's just the prison of like, things are okay. You want to have an amazing life. You want to have a miraculous life. You want to be in the energy of miracles every day. And that's the point of doing these practices. So tomorrow is going to be day 5, and I'm going to be here at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Not going to be here on Saturday and Sunday, but we'll be back on Monday. So Monday and Tuesday will be days 8 and 9, and I'll be back here at 11 a.m. Please leave your questions, your comments, your evidence, anything you want to share with me. Happy to answer any questions and to help you through this process. All right, my friends, remember that your miracle is already here. We're just being open and receptive to letting it come. God bless each and every one of you. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.